Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yeah, had a pretty good break myself. Been getting people into watching the Witch Watch anime. They're loving it so far, so that's a good plus. We've got more fans into the series, and yeah, with Witch Watch coming back itself, the manga chapter 201 coming out this Sunday. Thought it'd be no better time than ever now that I'm refreshed to get back into reviewing chapter 200. So wow, 200 chapters of this series. That really, just like with Mission Yosakura Family, that really flew by quickly. And like I said, I feel like we've still got like another probably about 3 years to go. So maybe ending around like chapter 348 of this series. I feel like that would be like, if there's one series that's going to make it past the 300 mark, it's going to be Witch Watch, more so than Dr. Stone and Mission Yosakura Family, because there's still so much to do. Like, we're obviously going to get Nico back to her normal teenage years, with all the butterflies coming back into her. But also they got to resurrect Juro. We've got to find out about Nemu and Keigo's relationship, also Mori and Nico's relationship, how awkward that's going to be when Nico comes back to being her regular self. So anyway, there's still so much that we've got to do with this series, and no time like the present. So let's just get started with chapter 200, and this is like probably like one of the longest chapters that we have had in the series so far. It's called "The Time My Childhood Friend Had Trouble Getting 34 Spells Back, but They All Sucked." It just rolls right off your tongue. It doesn't even come. The title page doesn't even come until halfway through the chapter, which is equally as a. I guess that's wait. Let me see. It comes in at page 10. So let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I thought there was going to be a joke there, like the title of the chapter would represent like how many words that were actually in the title itself, for the page that it was on. But no, it's like more than 10. So anyway, that's besides the point. Let's just dive right into the chapter. So it starts off with Nico drinking black coffee, and yeah. No, I'm with you there, Nico. I'm with you there. I've never really been a coffee drinker. It's just never been my thing. And I did have a latte a few months ago, and there's a reason why I've never drunk coffee before. It just has like that, like what Nico says here, bitter taste to it, and I couldn't say to them like I'm not a coffee drinker, because they bought it. Someone bought it for me, so I was trying to be nice, and I tolerated it, and I drank the coffee even though I was like, even though it was quite clear that I wasn't a fan of it. And yeah, now I can safely say, now that I've drunk coffee is not for me. So I'm with Nico there. But Mori says like, you obviously doing this because you wanted to be a grown up, but you're still a kid, so you don't have to start drinking black coffee. But Nico's like, no, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm growing up fast. I'm getting all the sparks back into me. I'm getting back to my normal size. Before Rory says, you're saying that, but then why are you spilling black coffee all over your brows? Before Nico gets distracted, like, oh wait, Rory, there's a butterfly over there. I can sense one that way. So we're gonna go and get it. Before she realizes, like, wait, Rory, this isn't right. Like, there's not just one butterfly over there. There's two. There's at least 10. There's at least 10. So wait, was that the reason why the title page appeared on page 10? Because Nico mentioned there was 10 butterflies. But yeah, that's besides the point. Mori is like just bamboozling, like, wait, there's that many around here, Nico? And Nico's like, yeah, they're just this way. They're right around this corner. We've got to get to them, Mori. We've got to get to Mori. As we get Mori's inner thoughts of, say, this is the first time that we found more than one at once. Did wild butterflies just happen to gather in one spot? And I reckon that's because they're trying to like move it along, because there's like 1,000 of these butterflies out here, and like we don't even have like 100 at this point. Like, does Nico have 100? Like, how many? Can someone go and check like how many butterflies Nico has back in her right now after this chapter, because she's gonna get 34 other butterflies in her. So add that 34 onto the butterflies that we have so far. Like, how many butterflies does she actually have back in her? So as they are going after the butterflies, they turn this corner and they see this guy, like, really suspicious looking. Like, the only thing that's missing is a hat from him, but he has, like, the looks of suspicious here. Like, trench coat, clothing that goes up to, like, so it covers, like, up to here, covers his mouth, sunglasses and everything. And it's like, yeah, that is not suspicious in any way. So, yeah, Murray concludes, like, oh, this must be the guy that's like attracted the butterflies. Like maybe they were just happening together in one spot, or it was someone who was collecting all of them. So like he concludes like, okay, this guy is collecting all of them. As Nico confirms, like, yeah, he's collected 34 of them. Before Murray asks the question, like, are you a magic user? I bet you recently absorbed a lot of glowing butterflies. But the guy is just there, like, not even saying anything. It's just there, like, yes, you are correct. They are within my body, butterflies full of light. So he's like saying it. It must be saying it in like a really like over dramatic way, like, yes, you are correct. They are within my body, butterflies of light. Before Murray says, like, okay, that's fine, and Daddy, but they are technically Nico's, so we're gonna have to ask you to give them back. And the guy's just there, like, huh, really? You wanted me to give them back? You're as much for a stranger, so don't be so pushy, because they came into me, they're mine now. So he's basically doing like the fight. He's doing like it. They now belong to me under the finders keepers clause. So they came to him. It's his magic now. He's keeping them, and he doesn't have to give them back. So he's got no obligation. Again, like finders keepers, losers weepers. Before Murray says, like, okay, that's it. So you're not going to hand them over. I guess you're leaving me no choice then. I guess I'm going to have to take them by fire. So he's like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this right now. You're not going to give them back to me. You're not going to get this girl back to her regular age. So I guess I'm going to have to take them by force here. Before Murray makes his stand, as the guy is making his stand, like really dramatic, over the top stand. Murray thinks like, oh, he's going to use the butterflies to fight. He doesn't know the risk of using magic. So like, he's thinking that this guy doesn't know the risk of using magic. He's going to abuse it for far too long, and he's going to turn into a warlock. So Murray's like aware of the dangers here of using like spells way too much for someone who's not accustomed to using magic. And if he has 34 of them to choose from, he's a bigger danger in a fight than Nico. I need to stop him right now. I need to stop him right here, right now. So Murray thinking about like, oh my god, this guy's going to be so overpowered. He's got probably like a fire spell, an ice spell, and lightning spell. Like this is probably what's going through Murray's mind. Like he's got elemental spells. He's got like spells that can defy gravity. But it's not gonna be anything like that. This is Witch Watch we're talking about here. They'll do something over dramatic, think like it's going to be so dangerous and so serious. But no, it turns out it's not the spells that you think of. So he uses the elonging spell, which basically makes his arm just extend longer. So it's basically like Luffy from One Piece, but without any of like the awesome abilities attached to it. It will just be like, oh, it's flopping down everywhere. And this is the spell that was used in one of the earlier like mini comedy arcs when one of them had like one of them made their arm. I think it was the Shuriken Council president. Yeah, he made his arm like so long, like he had to keep wrapping it around his head. This is the same spell from that chapter. And Murray's there like, oh, it just extends his arms, and it didn't really add any muscle. And then we get the spring one, which basically turns his legs into just like springs that you get on a bed mattress. So just like boing, 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 and he uses this to propel himself into the air. As we get flashbacks memories of them thinking of this being a Halloween prank, and that was one of the pranks that was used on Halloween that one time. Again, I believe this was also one of the spells in those two chapters, but I could be wrong. So as the guy is continually using the spells, he adds slime lotion gel absorbents bleh. Slime lotion gel. I'm just going to cry. I cannot pronounce that last word. But as he's doing that, he just ends up slipping all over the place. And this is where Murray concludes, like, you have Murray's face just being like, what is going on there? Like, oh, wait, hang on. These spells, they all suck. Like, they're all like the most useless spells you could think of. It would be like if it would make about as much sense if he just had like the jacket fruit from One Piece, like just literally turns him into a jacket, plops on the ground. It's just like Amoya would be like, yeah, this all sucks. As we get the title page, which again, longest chapter. If anyone can find a chapter name longer than this, be my guest. But yeah. Like I said, that time my childhood friend had trouble getting 34 spells back, but the old sucked. Like, if anyone can find a chapter, not just in Witch Watch, but in any other series with a title as longer than that, be my guest. Really find a chapter title like longer than that. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 chapters that will be 15 words in a chapter title that will be used. I guess this might be a reference to. Oh no! I get the reference now. I actually get the reference now. Okay, so technically there's 14 words because 34 is spelled as like a number. Like, I actually get the reference now. I can't believe, like, it took me a second to realise that. But yeah, we'll get into like why there's 14 words in this chapter title later. But seriously, if anyone can find a chapter title with longer than 40 words, be my guest. So anyway, Murray's there after he realised, like, all these spells all suck. He's like, what the hell, man? What is up with you? Showing up like you're acting some kind of like they thought that this was going to be like a boss fight, like this was going to be like what the next big series, like, because it was chapter 200. Like, I think people were expecting like a serious like fight, serious like fight, the sort of a series arc, and like a main antagonist of the arc showing up and everything, and he came in acting so high, man. Like, I've got all these spells and I'm not afraid to use them, but they all suck. And Murray was almost scared, but all you've got are spells that are just totally useless. As the guy tries to not think about this, he's like, no, they're not useless, they're awesome, look at this. Cubicle, as he turns into the Minecraft characters that we've seen before, and he's like, no, seriously, all that does is make your body swear. Using it is point. Like, Murray's criticising him on using his spells, like, kind of like someone who watches the series is like, no, what the hell, that is useless, like, you can't use that, it just turns your body square, like, how useful is that? And then he turns himself into a stuffle, and the guy at this point is like, what is even the meaning of this? What is even happening here? Murray says, like, don't try to liven things up with some weird spell we've never seen. It all still sucks, so quit acting like you're some kind of big boss character. Who are you? Just show your face. As the guy like goes for like the dramatic reveal. He doesn't even say anything, but he's like, oh, okay, I guess it's time for me to reveal my secret identity, but I'll be warned, this is really going to be painful, and you're going to be shocking about this. And it turns out that his face, like, all he's got is just like the puckered lips, like the sunken eye, looks like he hasn't slept in a while, just like blank stare, and Murray's there like, okay, this was not what I expected, but no, it was probably something Murray completely expected. So Murray continues on and says, that was totally a scene where some hot guy shows his face for the first time, but it turns out like, no, you're not really that hot guy. So quit acting, quit teasing what you aren't. It's all such a letdown. So like, there's all build up of this guy, and he's a total letdown. That's the joke of the chapter. And Murray continues, says, why are you wearing those cool sunglasses, stylish video game boss character coat for anyway? Before the guy reveals that he's used Pulp Fiction, which is the spell that you look at a picture picture of a piece of clothing, and then you can have that piece of clothing on you, but it's only like what you can see. Like the back is completely exposed because you can't see the back of the clothing. So that's where it's used. This was one of the first spells that was used in the series, and it's one of the ones that has just recently come in the anime. So it's nice that we got that. Also, by the way, speaking of the anime, a lot of people really like Nemu because we had Nemu in the last episode. So really looking forward to seeing the reaction that the anime watchers are going to have between Nemu and Keigo's relationship. Really looking forward to that. So continuing on, Murray says like, oh, you're naked in the bag. You've obviously used Pulp Fiction to get some sort of art of a photo or something. If it doesn't show the back, then you're just going to be basically streaking all the time from behind. And the guys just say like, wait, so I'm not fully you're kidding, right? I didn't even know is that how this works? Murray just gives like crude code of just being like 5, 7, wait, what does he say? He says 5, 7 and 5 style bliss. I guess he's trying to like make a secret code for the guy, but yeah, I'm not really getting it myself. That's the spell that, oh no, it's a spell that he, oh no, it's a spell that he's saying. It's a spell that he's saying. Sorry, completely idiot. So he says this name of the spell, and that's the spell that makes people talk in haiku. Now that I think about it, you've been talking in a haiku, this whole time. Why the hell did you cast that dumb spell on yourself? So basically, again, criticizing this guy for using magic before he finally comes clean about what his whole deal is. I don't think we even get a name for this guy in this chapter. Did we get a name for this guy? No, I don't think we actually do. Yeah, I don't think we actually do. So it's just this guy, like. Unless I missed his name from the chapter, because I'm not seeing it. Like I've not seen his name come up at all once in this chapter. So anyway, his whole deal is that he was obsessed with magic since he was a kid. So he's basically a magical taku essentially. He's the magic user. He's seen the magic users in books and animes. They've always been his favorite. I guess a magic Shinobio, I guess that's kind of thing. Now he gets to live out his fantasy because he got all 34 spells. They entranced him, fascinated him, and he spent his whole life nursing a burning wish to have a whole bunch of spells too. I mean, you could have gone into medicine or science, because as it says on one of my Dr. Stone t-shirts, science is like magic, but it's real, so you could have gone into that and lived out your fantasy. But I guess now that you have all these spells in you could have technically lived out your fantasy. But it's just that like, yeah, I know it's a lame dream, so just go on ahead, laugh. As Murray says, I'm not going to laugh at you for having a dream, but the look you picked is hilarious, so stop tempting me. So he's like, no, you're perfectly in your right to have a dream, but yeah, the look you have right now, yeah, that is going to make me laugh, so please stop it. As one day, as he explains that one day a glowing butterfly flew in him right into his body, and ever since his need to learn magic has only grown. As Murray concludes, like, the growth spell, it makes people's desires grow big. And this was like obviously his big desire to learn how to use magic to really come into his own as a magic user, but obviously he couldn't until that butterfly comes in, and now he was able to gather more and more butterflies up, which, can you imagine if this guy really got a lot of dangerous spells? He would have been a real threat. He would have like really gone off the deep end at that point. And yes, I've just gone and looked on the wiki. Yeah, we don't know the name of this guy, so it's either going to be one or two things. Either this is going to be a one-off guy, or way later on this is going to be picked up on. He's going to become an antagonist. He's going to get it. He's going to get involved with like the main villains, like the warlocks himself, because of the fact that Murray brought that up of him using magic too much to become a warlock. Yeah, we're probably gonna. It's either gonna be a one-off character, or he's gonna become one of the main threats later on because of the fact that he used these many spells. So yeah, I'm not ruling him out right now. The fact that he was introduced at the 200th chapter, a milestone for the series, yeah, that is saying one of two things. You're either a one-off comedic or you're going to be a main threat later on. So anyway, besides the point, the spell, the first spell he attached to him, and then it just kind of snowballed out of there. They're all, as I said, they're all useless crap spells, but this many at once, great. So you've done us a huge favour. We have a big hauler here. Nico can take that. Nico can take the bag, and she can grow up to be more along the lines of what her actual age is. And Nico gets really excited about this. Like, she's gonna grow up a whole bunch, which. People kind of assumed like Nico was gonna get aged up a little bit when we got to chapter 200, because it's, like I said, milestone chapter 200, perfect cut-off point, and like I said, this was the chapter before the break, so it makes perfect sense why this would be the cut-off point to kind of give the author a couple of weeks to get new fresh ideas in. But yeah, this guy, I'm gonna keep an eye on him. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him, like if he shows up again. So anyway, the guy says like, probably with 34 spells at once, I bet you'll grow at least 3 years. As as Moise is like, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And another 3 years. From where she is right now, she's going to hit a growth spurt, and sure enough, as Nico starts to reabsorb them, we get flashbacks from various chapters. Can't really tell half of them. The only one that I can kind of make out as being one of them is the one with Shiki, like Karu's familiar that she made out of a piece of paper, which was one of the most surprising emotional chapters of the series, like making us feel for a piece of paper. That was really something I wasn't expecting from Witch Run. But yeah, sure enough, Nico grows a few years because of absorbing all those spells. And the guy is just like, whoa! It's like it's the best thing he's ever seen in his life. And the guy and Nico and Maury's just like, what are you reacting for? What are you reacting for? Like, okay, Maury, he's a normal person just seeing someone grow like a few years. I feel like he could give him some credit for reacting like that. But anyway, Maury confirms that Nico is now 14. It's 14 and an 8th grader. So I think that's the reason why we got 14 words in the chapter title for this chapter, like because it was kind of referencing Nico gonna be 14 by the end of this chapter. So she's in 8th grade, and at this point, Nico's just there like, oh, middle schooler, a second year. So this is gonna be awkward for Charmy. Like, how is she gonna explain this to the class? Like, that's something that is something I want to see. Like, because Nico's gone straight from being like straight from being in elementary school to now being in middle school in the span of probably a week in the kids' eyes. Charmy is going to have some explaining to do to those kids. Like, okay, what the hell is going on with Nico, Charmy? Like, because Nico's gonna have to leave Charmy's class after this chapter, and how is she gonna explain? How is she gonna explain that? Like, is she gonna? I think she's gonna say like, "Oh, it's witch stuff. It's witch stuff. Just ignore it." But yeah, Nico is now a middle schooler, second year. And Maury is starting to joke around with her, be like, ha 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 ha, because you grew so much, your clothes are all small, la la, ha 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 ha. And yeah, at this point, Nico, in a bit of embarrassment and probably wanting to teach Maury a lesson, uses the bounce spring skill on it, spell on him to make his feet springy. She's like, oh, you're such a jerk, going through her rebellious teenage phase at this point. And she's not a little girl anymore, and that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, really fun chapter, but not what I was expecting for chapter 200. I mean, I kind of expected Nico to grow up a little bit, which is going to make for some really good comedic timing where we're moving forward. Like, I could just imagine next chapter Nico criticizing Ban in the same way Maury has criticized her. Like, you're supposed to be my familiar, you're supposed to be looking after me. Why are you lazing around so much? Like, really knocking Ban down a peg now that she's grown up, and also criticising a lot of the others in the house. So that's going to be interesting to see the new dynamic moving forward, that Nico has grown up to being 14 and an 8th grader, and we're moving one step closer to her becoming back to her regular size, which again, it's going to be so awkward when we get to that between Maury and Nico. Like, how is that going to work with the relationship that was established in part 1? How is that gonna work? But that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.